Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling the data-to-story pipeline. We're going to look at exactly how to take those messy, raw, downright headache-inducing spreadsheets and transform them into highly persuasive boardroom-ready dashboards. We're literally building this logical pipeline from the ground up. So, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed staring at a massive wall of data, well, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
I want to kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. Why does staring at endless rows of data feel so mentally draining? I mean, think about it. You open up a file, you see thousands of tiny cells, and your brain just kind of shuts down, right? It's like trying to read the code in the Matrix without the decoder ring. But if you look at a well-designed graph of that exact same data, boom, you get the core message instantly. Why is that?
Well, it all comes down to cognitive speed. We process visual information so much faster than raw numbers. When we're staring at a spreadsheet, we're basically forcing our brains to read and hold individual values in our working memory just to compare them. It completely overloads our mental RAM. Actually, scratch that. It completely fries it. It's exhausting. Visuals bypass that bottleneck entirely. They tap straight into our visual cortex, completely reducing that cognitive overload. We evolved to recognize shapes and patterns, not endless grids of digits.
And that brings us to the ultimate solution, data visualization. Simply put, it's the graphical representation of information and data using visual elements to understand trends, outliers, and patterns. By using shapes, colors, lines, we can instantly reveal the relationships hiding in all that chaos. It's an absolute game changer. It's the tool that lets us take highly complex findings and communicate them simply, intuitively, and most importantly, persuasively to anyone in the room. Okay, here's our agenda for today's explainer. Number 1, the foundation, which is data validation. Number 2, structuring data with pivot tables. 3, choosing the right charts. 4, the dashboard building pipeline. And finally, number 5, pro-level dashboard architecture.
Let's jump right into section 1, the foundation, data validation.
Look, every great dashboard starts with perfect data integrity. To get there, we use 3 specific components that work together to constantly defend your data from human error. First up, settings. This is your foundation, where you define the specific criteria like what is mathematically or logically allowed in this cell. Next, the input message. Think of this as a proactive tip that gently guides the user before they even start typing. And third, the error alert. This is your reactive pop-up. It acts like a strict bouncer at a club, literally stopping invalid data before it sneaks in and messes up your downstream analysis. To make this super practical, check out these validation types. If you use lists, drop-down menus, you completely eliminate those super annoying variations, like one coworker typing NY, another typing New York, and someone else putting NY with periods. Or you can use text links to force an employee ID to be exactly 6 characters long, no more, no less. You can use whole numbers, dates, or even custom formulas. Standardizing these entries guarantees your data is pristine right at the absolute source. Moving on to section 2, structuring data, pivot tables. So, our foundation is poured, our data is clean. Now it's time to build the structural framing of our data house. Pivot tables are a brilliant tool for this. They summarize massive data sets without you having to write complex formulas. You just effortlessly drag your fields into these 4 quadrants. Rows categorize things vertically for your primary categories, like region. Columns categorize horizontally for side-by-side comparisons. Values do the actual heavy lifting, calculating the numerical data, like sum or average. And filters act as the master gatekeeper, isolating specific data points. Imagine having 5,000 chaotic car sales records. Just by dragging car brand to rows, sale month to columns, and price to values, bam! You instantly pivot that nightmare into a clean, easy-to-read summary grid. Next up, section 3, choosing the right charts. All right, we've got our clean, summarized data. Now we transition to building the walls and windows of our house by picking the right visuals. Let's start with the classics. Column and bar charts are fundamentally essential for comparing values across categories. The rule of thumb here is super simple. Use vertical columns when you have a small set of data, but you want to switch to horizontal bars when you have a ton of categories, or especially if your text labels are really long and hard to read horizontally. Next, donut and pie charts. These are absolutely perfect for showing part-to-whole proportions. But listen, there's a golden rule here that gets broken way too often in the corporate world. You have to limit these to a maximum of 3 to 5 categories. Anything more than that, it creates terrible visual clutter. It ends up looking like a sliced-up rainbow, which completely defeats that whole cognitive speed advantage we talked about earlier. For other analytical needs, remember your specialized charts. Line charts connect data points and are your go-to for tracking trends over time. Think monthly revenue over a year. Scatter plots, on the other hand, use dots to show correlation between two numeric variables. They're brilliant for instantly seeing if, say, a huge spike in marketing spend actually caused a measurable spike in sales. They literally connect the dots for you.
Let's talk about making all this highly interactive. We need to compare standard filters versus slicers. Standard filtering happens in the back end. It's a hard filter that hides data away in menus before it ever hits the visual. But slicers? Oh, slicers are a totally different ballgame. They're visual, interactive, soft buttons that live right on the canvas. A user can just click a slick button that says year 2023 and watch every single chart on the page update instantly. They are incredibly user-friendly and an absolute must-have for a pro-level dashboard.
All right, Section 4, the dashboard building pipeline.
Now that we know our raw materials, let's look at the exact chronological workflow for assembling the final corporate product. Here's your 6-step roadmap. Step 1, requirement gathering. You absolutely have to identify your audience and their specific KPIs first. Step 2 is data ETL, which is extracting, transforming, and relentlessly cleaning your data. Step 3, data modeling, which is properly linking your tables together. Step 4 is visual design, carefully choosing those charts we just discussed. Step 5 is adding interactivity, bringing in those awesome slicers. And finally, Step 6 is testing. This is where you rigorously verify accuracy and performance before the CEO ever lays eyes on it.
And our final section, number 5, pro-level dashboard architecture.
You've built all the individual pieces. Now we need to talk interior design and placement. This is all about leveraging human psychology to put visual elements exactly where the eye naturally wants to go. Studies show that humans scan dashboards in an F shape. They start top left, scan across the top, and then work their way down the left side. What does that mean for us? It means the top left corner is prime real estate. It's exactly where you must place your dashboard title and your absolute most critical metric.
Let's break down this strategic zone placement a bit more. Your top header, right across the top width, should house 3 to 5 big, bold KPI cards. People want the bottom line immediately when they open a file. Group all your navigation, like slicers and timelines, in the top right. Tucking them away there keeps them from distracting from the main story. The body is where the magic happens. Put your primary visuals, like crucial line or column charts, in the center left, and your secondary visuals, like supporting pie charts or scatter plots, down in the bottom right.
To wrap up the design, here are some rapid-fire pro tips for a flawless corporate finish. Alignment. Always use snap to grid so everything lines up razor sharp. Color. Stick to a maximum of 3 professional colors. Please, no neon colors. Consistency. If 2023 is blue in one chart, it has to be blue in all of them so the brain doesn't get confused. And lastly, white space. Leave a consistent 10 to 20 pixel visual gap between elements. It completely elevates the final product from cluttered to relentlessly clean. We've covered the whole journey today, from locking down a single cell of data to architecting a brilliant interactive display. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Go look at your current dashboards. Are your company reports actually telling a compelling, intuitive story that drives rapid decision-making? Or are they just making your audience squint at rows of endless numbers? Apply this end-to-end pipeline and you'll make your data undeniably persuasive. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.